technically, this is my fourth ever. Fuck, what do I call my podcast? Rogues
Ramblings.
No, that's when I get on my soapbox by myself.
Okay.
Rogues Gallery. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you, Pay. You said it as soon as I. So this will be technically my fourth Rogues Gallery. I've done it twice with Jamie Giraffe. Once with Pagan, and you're my fourth. I haven't done this in about a year.
Okay.
I've been trying to figure out how to come back and do this. I like the aspect of doing it off air. That way, if there's something that needs to be edited or cut out, it can be done. Because with Pagan, we ended up cutting stuff out.
Gotcha.
Thank you, TikToki. Welcome in. But at the same time, I like how you and Eugene do it, like the live version, because we're gonna get talking and we can play off of the chat.
My whole thing is that if we subscribe, like if we record stuff and then go back, number one, I'm too lazy. I'm going to get in there. I'm not going to want to go back and edit it. And I just am not going to want to deal with it. And two, there's that thing for me, like if you want to get viewers and stuff, there's just something far more appealing about live television and live viewing. A lot of it is because of trust me, there's been plenty of times we've done a stream and I've got done and just been like, oh shit, I can't believe I said that. Or I've gone and taken streams down that we've done because I was just like, all right, that wasn't good. Hopefully you watched it when it aired, because otherwise we're probably not going to get it. You're probably not going to see it.
Yeah. So, like I said, I've been thinking about ways to bring this back and see what I want to talk about. Like a couple weeks ago, I wanted to talk about conspiracy theories. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to wait till my Deathversary. I planned on bringing you on just from what we've been talking about, because excuse me, I'm sorry for the burping, people. It's like I have a problem with my stomach, so I'm gonna try and turn. He's a
disgusting human being.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and turn away when I think of it. So I appreciate it. Thank you, Pay. So we what we're gonna start off with is mental health. I'll give you a quick rundown of what 3 years ago happened to me. I got pneumonia. I was a smoker. I coughed so hard I broke my ribs. Little did I know that it caused bleeding in my chest, filled my left chest cavity with blood, which they did not know of. About 7 or 8 hours of me sitting in an ER, they finally get me in a room. I was in so much pain that they thought I was having a heart attack. I was not having a heart attack. My lungs and my heart were just being crushed. They gave me a nitro pill to slow my heart rate down, but it slowed it down so much that it stopped my heart. I was resuscitated. They found out afterwards that, my chest was filled with blood. They had to chest tube me, which I had to be awake for, which fucking sucked. But I made the surgeon laugh before he stuck me with the tube. So,
you always want them to have a good chuckle in mind when they're getting ready to insert that.
So, and the guy was a robot too. Not a good guy. I've since it's happened, I've had to run in with those guys a few times, and they're a great team. But so basically, then I was in the hospital for a while getting it drained. I was out for 4 days, and then my chest filled back with blood. So I had to go back in. Thankfully, they didn't stop my heart again. But basically, that's the thing. And one big thing that came from this is, we all suffer from depression and things like that. But I got severe PTSD. I was going to share this with you the other night off air when we were all talking after your podcast, but I was diagnosed, obviously, with PTSD, severe agoraphobia, which me and you share, with panic-laden. It was caused panic attacks, and then severe depression, but not suicidal or want to harm people. So since me and you kind of share the agoraphobic thing, one reason I wanted to bring you on, because me and you can kind of are on the same page of that. For the same reason, probably not, but it's still amazing, because I'll just tell you right now, like, it took 2 years for the agoraphobic thing to manifest in me.
Well, a lot of it too is like because the timing was so terrible with COVID happening like right afterwards, which is where a lot of my stuff comes from. I already had obvious issues before that, but COVID has not helped anything, and I think it's probably affected everybody on the planet a lot more than than people let on or even realize.
Yeah, I think because I was talking with my brother the other night when he stopped by, because I was having I was having a panic attack, and he needed to come over and do something. So, and he brought Ollie, his dog, with him. Which, if you guys follow me on social media, you see pictures of him and videos. So, he's the best three-legged pupper ever. So, God damn it, I just lost my train of thought. So we were talking. Me and my brother were talking, and like maybe where it manifested. And obviously, when I got out of the hospital, my mom had to leave. Like, my parents don't live here; they live like 3.5 hours north of us. Mm-hmm. So I was left to my own devices, having to clean my own wounds, which are here, down here. Mm-hmm. And if you're on Instagram or Twitter, about an hour or so ago, I posted pictures of it and a video of the chest being pulled, or the tube being pulled. So, I had basically take care of that shit by myself. Now, I had about 3 friends that when they could come help me, they would, and it was very much appreciated. But I was left to my own devices, which I think didn't help. And then a year later, COVID hits, and I was an essential worker, so I was being thrust into all this bullshit with no regards to my health issues and living alone. And I think and then I started having like extreme panic attacks to where I'm afraid to. I know where all the hospitals are in the region, in the area I live in, because I'm afraid. Because I've ended up with pretty bad arthritis in my neck and shoulder, which is the pains generally people have when they have heart attacks, and so it manifests in my brain that I'm dying. So in the past year, I've been to the ER maybe between 30 and 40 times. Nothing really wrong. That's when they found out I had at least arthritis, possibly MS, and it's a fucking nightmare. Like, I finally saw a psychologist, talked with her, which I'm going to be starting therapy soon. Which, by the way, if you think you need therapy, anyone, please talk to a psychologist. Please get therapy, because just knowing what I have has helped. Like, help my burden a lot. Like, it's taken
once
a lot
you know
of weight
someone
off.
else recognizes your problem, and it's not. This isn't mental health wise, but I'll just use an example of I have a lot of bad teeth issues. Have my whole life. I also have horrible sinus issues. Had surgery on them 3 different times. It's never gone away. This and that. Last time I went to the dentist, she was just like, your stuff is all messed up. It probably has been your whole life. Like, you should have had braces probably 20 years ago to fix all of that. And she was talking about all the pain that could come from that, including up into my sinuses and things like that. And it's like at that moment that it's like, number one, somebody's actually paying attention to my pain that I have. Like, they're finding a root cause to it. And it just makes you feel so much better to know I'm not fucking crazy. Like, there is something wrong with me. It's not just in my head. And yeah, because when you talk to other people and you try to tell them your problems, if there's not something physically wrong with you that they can see immediately, I think a lot of people, their default is just like, yeah, okay. Like, when it comes to talking about your problems.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It 100% does.
Yeah. Oh, I see we got a deleted message.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it was.
You fat fucks. Obviously, it's gonna. And it's always a heart attack. It's always. Yeah, I will say I've not started therapy yet, but I am. I'm working up towards it just because I've had so many friends who have said I was against it or just didn't believe in it, and then finally did it, and it's really helping me. So.
Yeah. Oh, that was a nice message that Pay pulled. What a fucking dickhead. Um, but yeah. Actually, I'll fucking read it. I don't care. Because I put LGBT plus in here because I support people in the letter mafia, and
Yeah.
it
I
says
support the letter people. You can see by my my Discord image there.
maybe actually something wrong in their brain. Get them some help and don't promote. Yeah, you're obviously a fucking moron. Because wow, wow. So
Isn't the internet wonderful?
yeah, and that's
It gives
fine.
a voice to everybody. It's wonderful.
Like I don't advocate like children becoming if they have feel different. Like I don't advocate children. People need to like if they want a sex change. I think they need to get later in their life before they make a life changing thing like that. But some people don't feel comfortable in their body, and
Yeah.
and
My whole thing is just your brain. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
and pay if they do it again, just ban them.
Yeah.
And unless they want to, if you want to have a conversation, you feel free to stay in. But if you're going to be negative, you can fuck off. But I'm sorry, they just derailed me a bit.
It's all right.
But if you really feel that way, do it in your mid-20s or later. I've seen people like pushing their kids to be trans or gay, and I don't. That's not cool. Let it play out, and then when they're adults, I mean, our brains don't fully develop until we're about 25. Men or females do a little earlier than us, but like,
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I agree. You can't do anything drastic until you are a little bit older and a little bit more. Just because your mind changes, dude. My mind and like the things I want and what I thought about life have changed so much. I'm 36 years old, and just like moving away from Conneaut, where sorry, that's too much info, but moving away from where we're from, like
you can say that if you want. I don't care.
Yeah, but like that just opened up a whole new world to me, and like my mindset really did change. Not that I was a bad person when I lived there, but it was like I met new people, had a new world, and it's not even for the best because I came here and this is a horribly closed-minded and racist city.
Yeah, you managed to go from an even more closed-minded city than what we are from.
Yeah, and then I did, because I never realized just how bad it was in Conneaut until I got away from it, but even then now it's not as bad as some other places. But yeah, just the mentality, like your mind changes so much. And just, there are some countries they don't even consider you an adult until you're 30 years old. And I don't really think that's wrong, because
I don't really either.
It's like, because really, people who say, I was at work the other day, and I do work with a lot of younger people because I work in retail, and this girl was like, I said something about being 18, and then someone else was just like, oh, he probably just looks at you like a kid, and I was like, yeah, I do, and I'm not trying to be mean, but it's like, I know when I was 18, I was a kid, and I was a kid for quite a while, so
yeah, it's amazing. Like,
really is.
It's amazing how when you think you know who you are when you're 18, you're like, oh, I'm going to be this person. It's not. Even when you hit 25, you're different. When I hit 30, I was different. After my shit at 35, 3 years ago, I've changed so much. It's and your brain
can have ideas in your head that you think you're 100% on, and you're never going to falter. You're never going to change on what you think, and then you get a little bit older, you have some more experiences in life, and maybe you realize, hey, maybe I was wrong, which I understand is the hardest thing on this planet for people to admit and just accept that you're just wrong sometimes, and it's okay. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we've just learned that we can be wrong, and it helps us grow.
Well, that's how you do grow. Is you like as a person, you have to admit that you're wrong.
Yeah, and that's why you'll never like these people. They don't ever grow because they don't ever accept maybe things should change or could be changed, and they'd be better.
Yeah, I'll go and Rumble. And that when we can swing, like that's kind of come into discussion later after we're done talking with the mental health thing. But
I just want to apologize real quick for my camera. It does go blurry sometimes. There isn't a whole lot that I can do about it, so I apologize.
Right. You're not that good looking anyways.
I'm half cryptid, so every time a camera comes on me, it just sort of blurs out a little bit. My dad was Bigfoot, so shit happens. I'm sorry.
So the mittens thing is a big thing. Like I said, and detriment to you too, about like you're talking about your teeth, is once you know something's wrong, there is a burden that's lifted off of you mentally. Just thinking, because you're right, a lot of people will think, unless you have a diagnosis, that there's nothing wrong with you, whether it be mental, physical.
Where's your note? Where's your note that tells you you're not lying?
Where's your note? I want to see that you're fucked up. And I not to like prove myself to my friends in the UK, but my son and my friend in the UK, one of my sons in the UK, if you know, you know, I sent them my mental diagnosis the other day, just because, you know, we talk about it. One of them suffers from PTSD, and anxiety. The other one, my son, anxiety and other shit. And so I send it to them, kind of like, hey man, this is, you know, it feels good to know this. Well, like, there's not much I've done to make it better right now, but yes.
Sometimes you just gotta ride that happiness of knowing what's wrong.
Yeah, it really helped me out for a couple of days, but I think because I was coming up to this day, like I've been having bad days because of it the past couple of days, which is, I figure, would have fucking happened anyways. It has happened, like it happened last year. And one thing too is, and my brother made a great point about this, is when shit happens like this, like to me or anyone, like something that's like extremely bad, is I was lucky enough to come out of it. Is it shouldn't be a day of woe is me and really remembering the horrible shit that happened that day, but celebrating that I'm still here. I'll always, probably till the day I die, remember every little thing about that day. It took me about a year to realize that it took me about a year to get over my survivor's guilt, which was a whole nother, that sucked. Because I felt like I took someone else's place that day, like a child or something like that. Which, you know, it took me about a year for me to not feel that way. And now it's just the stupid PTSD of, am I dying? 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 And it fucking
Which sucks because we are.
Yeah, I mean we are slowly dying, but
that's the thing that we kind of have to get out of, where it's like, we can't just accept and be happy in this moment that we're in, where we're actually alive and everything's going. You know, beginning of the week, we had the issue with our dog, and it's like we thought he was on his way out. And I know some people are probably like, okay, that's not the same at all, but we were very, very upset. We love our dogs very much. And he ended up not being okay. He's sitting right over here somewhere. I don't know where he went. But he's okay for now. But he's not, because he's old as fuck. He's going to die probably much sooner rather than later. And I can't get out of that mindset of just like, but just be happy he's here right now and you get to spend your time with him instead of just feeling bad that it's going to end someday. And you can say the same thing about ourselves. Like, you know, you sit there and when it comes to your depression and stuff, I don't know about you, but I'll have those moments, just the obvious, like, dark moments. It's just like, I don't want to kill myself, but I wish I would just fucking die. Like, I just wish it would just be over with and I didn't have to deal with things and I didn't have to worry about everything. But then the minute something starts to happen that I really think, you know, like the same thing, I get those pains. Like in my arm, my chest, and it's just like, oh god, this is it. Oh, what am I gonna do? And you start to panic, and it's like, what the fuck are you panicking for? 20 minutes ago, you were just hoping this would happen.
Yeah, you were okay with this shit 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, but hey, guess what? You don't actually want to die. You just want to not feel the way that you feel right now.
Yeah, and that sucks. I get that like every morning because I have to get through I have a panic attack every morning. I think when I wake up and move, I'm gonna end up having a heart attack. Even though I've been cleared by doctors, I have a very healthy heart, even for the weight I am. Every morning I have to get up, slowly move, take a shower, ice. I have a long process of just feeling okay to move around the fucking house, and it sucks. But yeah, but in those moments, I think the same thing. I'm like, I just want this to be over. I don't want to die. I don't want to commit suicide. I just want that to be clear. It is not an answer. But you're so deep down in that fucking dark hole that for a fleeting moment you do want it to end. And it sucks, and it fucking really sucks. But you fight your way through it, and a couple hours later, like, I think I got through my anxiety attacks probably 10 minutes before I texted you today.
I understand.
Yeah, I've taken 2 showers, like, to help, like, with the pain of ice, all that shit, just to get my mind to calm down. And in those fleeting moments, I even thought about, like, canceling this. But I'm like, that's not going to help me, and, like, it's not going to help, like, anyone that gets anything anecdotal from this out of it.
Well, let me ask you, have a lot of those feelings kind of gone away since we started? Or are they not as bad? Yeah, that's what I was talking with my doctor about the last time I saw her, because I was just talking about going to work is such a fucking challenge some days. And like last month, I just had one morning I got up and, like, I was terrified to go to work. I was covered in sweat, just like, and I wasn't even doing anything. I just got up in the morning. I was sitting on the couch, and, like, I finally called off work and still felt terrible. I went and, like, to go get in the shower, and I was sweating so bad that when I pulled my shirt off, it was clinging to my body. Like, I had jumped in the pool or something, it was so bad. Got in the shower, got out, and it's like, I felt fine afterwards. Just that, like, taking that shower, knowing I didn't have to actually leave the house, it was just like, it all just disappeared. But then the days that it is bad, but I do just go to work, it's it's not that bad. But that was, like, when the doctor, I noticed, like, maybe this is a big problem, is because she's like, well, is it interfering with you going to work? And I was like, no, yeah, like, the last 3 months in a row, I've called off, like, one day each month, just because, like, I had a day where I was just like, oh my fucking god, I can't, like, deal with going there right now. And I've never been that way. I mean, I sort of have, but I usually just sucked it up and went in. But now I'm to the point where I'm just like, no, mentally, I just can't be there right now. And I wouldn't be good. I wouldn't help anybody anyway, so.
Yeah, you're going to be a worthless piece of shit more than you usually are.
Funny. I was employee of the month, motherfucker, so.
No, fuck yourself. But yeah, it's just. It's so funny because with agoraphobia, you're like, if I leave this door, if I even go out to get the mail, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
And it's insane. Like, I had my mailbox literally fall, like, letters and shit falling out because I wouldn't even go get my mail because I wouldn't even go that far outside. Like, I was wasting shitloads of money on delivery.
Yeah. I will say, like, the worst. Mine isn't that bad, just, like, when it's around home, but the worst I do is, like, I always have to have the phone if I leave the house, because all I can think is, like, I could fall down and break something and die out there. I need my phone with me. And it's, like, 10 feet away from the back door.
Well, yeah, mine even got to the point where I made the finished part of my basement my bedroom. And then when I started having these panic attacks of I think I'm having a heart attack or a stroke or any of this, I started sleeping on my couch. I had a set of clothes next to the door, like something's easy to put on, a sweatshirt, a pair of sweats, and then my shoes. That way I can just grab the keys are right there. I can just go and then get to the ER.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been sleeping on my couch for almost a year now because of that. I just recently started sleeping in my original bedroom.
Big boy bed.
Yeah, big boy bed. Because I'm like, okay, I don't have to sleep this close to the fucking door. Because I'm like, every second counts. Every second counts. So it's small strides. Like it's not gonna lie, it's hindered me from making money.
I bet.
Which
Yeah, like when you told me you were doing the delivery stuff, it was just like, well, hey, good for you. At least you're getting out there and
yeah, and that's few and far between. Like if I don't mentally can't break through it, like I just don't work.
mm,
Granted, that's why I like gig work because like with bullshit like my brain, like
mm,
I can't get fired from that job.
yeah.
But getting a
Can't make
regular job,
a Yeah, it's just hard though because when it's like gig stuff, it's like you're also like you can't be reliable. That's what I run into. It's not gig work, but like just streaming. You know how you said, "Oh, I almost canceled." Like I've done that so many times, and it seems like everything got a lot worse because I felt like we were streaming for like a year, and I felt like we were doing pretty good consistently. And then sometime around September last year, everything just sort of fell apart, and I did the same thing, and every time I'd want to do it, it would just be like, I can't do it. Just mentally, I cannot get into the mindset to do this, and it's just going to suck, and I'm going to be miserable. And then I'm going to
yeah,
feel even worse afterwards because I'm going to be like, that'll be the day like 15 people pop in that have never been there before, and it's like, ah, shit, I got people like new people who might be here to see it, and they're not entertained right now because I'm not being entertaining.
yeah. It's thank you, Darth. Um, that is I didn't stream for like 3 months, I think, because of that.
Mm.
I used to when I hit affiliate, I had a schedule of at least Tuesday, Thursday, starting at 3 every Tuesday, Thursday, and then I had the break mentally. I came back, and then it was I just stream whenever I feel like it, which sucks. Like I want to have a schedule, but like mentally I can't. And obviously I scheduled this today, but it's hard to be like, well, it's gonna be this day at this time all the time. But it's unfortunately that's not how it's gonna work for me right now. So that's another thing that it's getting over this hurdle of breaking this mental bullshit, and I feel great when I do these things. Um, excuse me.
Fucking animal.
I know. Sorry. But just breaking in, it's kind of like that. The Shia LaBeouf. Just do it. 'Cause once you're doing it,
Yeah.
you're fucking fine.
Yeah.
Uh,
You just have to force yourself sometimes. And I've always thought that, and it does. I still think, in general, that mostly does work. But when your mind gets to the point where it's like you telling yourself to do it, like the other much louder, more aggressive part of your mind is just like, fuck you, no. Then there's a problem. You need some help.
yeah, you definitely do. So this is the whole schedule. It's fuck not something you're going to be able to do just right off the bat. Shakes head. I know, queen of scheduling and having everything planned out. Pagan Pixie. And thank you, by the way, for entertaining me for an hour last night so I could set shit up for today at like midnight.
Yes, thank you. I'm very happy to be here.
Not you, dickhead. Pagan.
No, I know. That's why I was saying thank you to her
Okay.
for making this possible, because I'm happy to be here, dickhead.
Oh,
God. See, that's your problem, Mike. You're just so aggressive and negative about things.
you are correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I take some days off. Yeah, and sometimes days off are good for your mental health. It's just when you start taking too many off, I think.
Yeah, then it's a problem.
Yeah, I think you end up hurting yourself instead of helping.
And really, it shouldn't be a problem. But I do think that we, like, I can only speak for our country, because I can't say, like, what work is like anywhere else, for any of the viewers who are not in the U.S., but it's like, I have an old white boomer for a boss who was telling me the other day, he's retiring soon, and he claims he's never called off in his life. Never once has he called off work. Like, that's the kind of person that we're dealing with, so it's like anytime you want to call off, there's no good reason, ever, for anything. And I used to be the type of person, I would just, like, accept that and, like, kind of cower to it, but now it's just like, no, I'm just not coming in, regardless of what you think, because I just know it's not good for me.
Yeah, yeah. And well, that kind of comes into something. I know my family won't like me talking about this, but how is your like with your wife and stuff? How have they been with your mental stuff? Positive, negative? I mean, you don't have to answer the question either.
Well, no, it's so I have a lot of guilt because my wife has not like she's been in some relationships that have not been great. Like she was in a relationship with somebody who had a lot of mental health issues, ended up being incredibly abusive, and like to the point where he ended up in prison because of the stuff that he did to her. So there's that part of me that's like when I get really bad, I start to feel even worse because I'm just like, oh my god, I don't want her to look at me the way she looked at that person. Although I'm not a violent person. I don't get like that. Like he was like fucking schizophrenic and stuff. That's not what my issue
even
is
though
at
you're
all.
built like a fucking monster, you are a gentle giant.
Yeah. I get upset. I just cry. So that's kind of what happens. She's really. I feel bad. She kind of puts up with a lot of stuff sometimes, but then other times she's really kind of understanding and. She has her own issues. And so it's not like I can sit there and think like, oh, she needs to be more accommodating to me. It's like she does the best that she can while also dealing with her own problems.
Yeah,
that I am also trying to accommodate and sort of work with. So it's and I say that like she's I mean we're on antidepressants. Like that's kind of the limit of like where her stuff is, but I'm not gonna give all her business out. But my mom, on the other hand, is not as she's not as understanding.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind because my sister has always had anxiety issues. Like growing up, she's always been that way. Like she would just sweat profusely. She's always been very embarrassed about it. And growing up, I was always just like bullshit. Whatever. Like you're just doing stuff because you get babied and because mom just let you get away with it. And and it's like I just didn't really take it seriously. And then after we got older and I saw how it still affected her, I don't think my mom helped that much because she did baby her, but it could have been a lot better. Either way, so I know that's not exactly what we're talking about, but like we're older now, and my mom just somehow seems to have lost her patience for dealing with anything like that. So I don't know.
Yeah. I asked because I've got a weird dynamic with my family and with the help with the mental shit. Is my brother's more on the helping side, but he's a little bit harsher, but he understands. He's also a medical professional, right? Mm. My mom's my mom. She probably panders a little too much to my mental bullshit, but she's understanding. Ooh. And then you have my father, who is not really understanding at all, which doesn't help.
What's your fucking problem?
Well, when he's like, just be normal. Like that shit don't fucking help.
Yeah.
That shit doesn't help. Like you can't, like he wants to help, but he's from an age of this, and this comes big partially like in this stigma with men still exists, is we're just supposed to suck it up and shut the fuck up and deal with it. My old man, just for preference, at the age of 23, he was in a horrific motorcycle accident where he ended up having his right arm amputated.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Okay. His fault. Fucking, he was wasted. Hit a curb. They both went flying. He landed before the bike landed on his arm. Jesus. So everything was crushed, and like he's got fake collarbones and shit like that. And wow. Now he's like stage 4 COPD. He's been on borrowed time for a long time. I love my father very much, but like he's just deal with it. It's like,
yeah.
The fuck, man. Like I didn't have friends and shit around for my shit, like to party and get fucked up and forget. I've been in a cave for 2 years, getting gaslighted by a company and
yeah.
So it's weird because, like I said, I've got a weird dynamic. He wants to help and he does love me, and I love my father very much. But like his way of thinking is not the right way. My brother's probably the closest to the correct way, and my mom's kind of an enabler, but she's in the right direction, but maybe not always.
And that just kind of comes with the mindset of like older generations, and why I do think that eventually things are going to change. I think they'll change for the better. Though, those kids, not that we have kids, but like, people who had, like their parents are kind of our generation, hopefully will be like, you know what, it'll just get better and better. Every generation, people become more understanding and more aware of these situations, and our old ass parents who, well, when I was your age, I had to do this and do that. And it's just like, why do you think I have to keep doing that? Why do you think I have to live the same way that you lived or did things the same way you? When we live in a completely different fucking society than you grew up in.
Yeah, it's
which
insane.
Is what they just can't seem to understand or wrap their mind around. Like I said, it goes back to just change. Maybe just knowing you're not right, or maybe there is a different way to do things. You know what?
It's not the same world anymore.
It's not. I'm going to tell you one of the best pieces of media that I've seen that has tried to use that like as an example of just like, you're not always right. Sometimes you're wrong, and that's okay. Just your way of living is not the only way. Is fucking Cobra Kai. And I know you don't really watch the show. I know. But that was one of those things when it was
the
last season, and it was getting into that. I was just like, it's so nice because they're even telling the heroes, like the main characters, you're wrong, and that's okay. And it's like these old fucking white teachers be like, you know what? Maybe we are wrong. And yeah, completely unrealistic. That's the most unrealistic thing about Cobra Kai, is that these old guys have learned a lesson. But yeah, it's good. It's a good message to get out there. See, I overcorrect because I think I'm just a fucking idiot and I have no confidence in myself whatsoever. So
yeah. So I'm gonna use this to kind of segue into talking about free speech and Joe Rogan, since that was a big thing in the past couple of days. We can still touch on mental stuff as we talk, but So after your podcast on Thursday night, we're objectively talking about what is the correct, where does society hold itself accountable for what's considered misinformation or wrong speech, where a person hears or consumes something, and when does it stop being their personal responsibility, right? So we talked about that Thursday night, and Friday Joe Rogan comes out with another apology video for using the N-word in the past 12 years on his podcast. Now, I have heard him say it a handful of times in context. Now, in context, it makes sense. He's just using the word. Now, I do agree that...
How did he... So I didn't hear it, so I'm just going to say, like, the way Hulk Hogan did it when he got busted saying shit, like, it was nasty. Like, he was calling somebody the N-word. He was being racist. Now, when Joe Rogan did it, and this is really because I don't know, like, was he just saying, like, in the context of, oh, the N-word, of like, oh, so if you hear somebody say the N-word, but he said the N-word?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, he wasn't calling somebody that.
No. Or he was quoting someone that said the N-word happened to be... Instead of saying N-word, he would just say the word.
Instead of censoring himself from what someone else said.
Correct. Now, part of this, and this is where I'll just touch on this, is part of that word will never be gone, but I think the sting has been taken out a lot by it, by one, the less use of it, and then people giving it less power. Which I think
is with the less use is that when you do hear it,
it stings again.
It gives you a feeling, yeah. And there's so to start off, we'll just say with the N-word, and I do agree, like, just say it. Stop being a child, because when you don't say it, you're just putting the word in everybody else's head. And I don't know, it's a word. But we're not the target of that word. That word has nothing to do with us, like, that wasn't made for us or about us. So our level of being offended or not wanting to hear it, I don't know. It's when a white person comes up to me and starts complaining about the N-word, don't give a shit whatsoever. When a black person comes up, I'm going to hear what they have to say about the N-word and why it bothers them. Now, if it's a stupid fucking reason they don't like it, then hey, it's a stupid reason. But if they got a good reason for not wanting to hear it, then fine. If you overhear somebody saying the word because they're saying what someone else said,
Or they're singing some song lyrics or something.
You're never going to hear me edit myself when I'm listening to fucking Chronic 2001. I'm sorry. Maybe it's 2000, which I know, that's lame, but that is what we listened to back in the day, and I love it when it comes on. I'm not going to censor myself, though, because it's a fucking song.
Yeah, or Fuck the Police. You cannot not sing those lyrics.
Yeah.
But anyways, they came out, someone made a super cut of all the times he said the N-word on the podcast. Okay. So, of course, there's no context in it.
Okay.
So, which has led to, obviously, in the past week, Joe Rogan has been under attack for misinformation with COVID. All these,
fucking with Neil Young. That's what happened.
Yeah, they're fucking with Neil Young and Joni Mitchell. So, see, now my camera's doing the fuzzy thing.
Oh shit! It caught it.
I know, fucking.
Maybe you're part Bigfoot too, and you didn't even know it.
Yeah. So here's the problem: is they were trying to cancel him on misinformation, which he says when he gives his opinion, and he talks to medical professionals, he talks to scientists, he talks to people all walks of life. And now when it comes to COVID, he's never gone, oh, this is what you should do. He just goes, listen, I think people should be healthier. I don't think these people, blah, blah, blah. This is what I think. And he has every right to say that shit. Just like we have every right to come on here and talk whatever the fuck we want to talk about. This, and obviously then Friday, the supercut of him saying the N-word comes out. This isn't about stopping Rogan from talking about COVID. This is him. They're trying to stop him, period, from talking about anything, because he's grown bigger than all the legacy media, CNN, Fox News, MSNBC. Yeah,
they're making him out to be an actual source of information. Which, first off, if you're the type of person who's watching Joe Rogan to get your news and information, well, you've already lost. You're already a hopeless cause. So you can throw that there. That's my first point. Who's watching Joe Rogan for actual educational reasons? I know there are.
You could when he's talking to doctors or scientists or things like that. But you have a person like me that, I'll watch those things, but usually those interviews are conducted better than you'll see on legacy media, because he can ask a question and they can finish their thought on it. You know what I mean? So, and hate, love, or indifferent about Joe Rogan, this is the best way I can use this, is the fact that there's a huge force trying to silence him is showing that they're trying to take our power away from free speech. When you give people with power more power, especially if you give them the right to take away what we can and cannot say, you're going to take away our free speech. Free speech is not 100% free, by the way. There are some limitations to it, like you can't incite a riot. You can't say something that will cause harm. Now, if you're going to Joe Rogan and you take his medical advice, that's your fault. 100%. That's your fucking fault. If you want to take advice on jujitsu or being fit, that's fine, because he's kind of a professional at that.
I don't think Joe Rogan is any dumber or any more dangerous than having Donald Trump as president was when it comes to people listening to what's being said. So, destroying his career. I don't like Joe Rogan. I think he's a fucking idiot. I really do. I don't think he contributes anything to society that's worth listening to or hearing. That is in no way saying that I do or we do. Oh, we're awesome, but
yeah, we are pretty fucking cool.
I don't know, but he is still, just in the end, he's an entertainer. He might have gotten up his own ass and decided, you know what? I'm a legitimate journalist. I'm a legitimate interviewer. I don't know, because I don't watch the show. I've never listened to the show. I just hear snippets here and there whenever someone gets fired up about something that happened on Joe Rogan.
Yeah, and no matter what it is, whether it's Joe Rogan or any of these dickheads in the media, anytime it's negative and you're in whatever bubble you're in, you only see the negative shit. You never see the good thing of the opposite side of your line.
And I guess sorry, go ahead.
And that's dangerous. Be okay, I heard this asshole say this thing. Maybe I should look into it, not research, but look into it a little bit and see what's true and what's not. And that's one thing that we've forgotten to do a long time ago. And we're letting social media and news sources manipulate us as people by only giving us short clips of what they want us to see or hear.
Yeah. How long has the phrase, if it's on the internet, it must be true, existed? Because I remember hearing that when I was in the 9th grade and first got a computer. Like, as a joke. Because obviously anybody who just reads shit off the internet and blindly believes it's a fucking idiot. So you shouldn't. I admit to being guilty of that, knowing people have been guilty of that. Thankfully, I've gotten to the point where I only listen to the internet when they tell me something I really want to hear. And then I get disappointed because I'll be like, oh, there's actually I'm trying to think of something to... Oh my god, they announced Mace Windu as fucking... Sam Jackson coming back as Mace Windu, no way! And then you look at it and it's a lie. It's a goddamn lie. It might happen, but
see, you thought something that innocent would bring you joy, and all it did was just give you sad thoughts.
Yeah, it made me sad. But, it doesn't take much to give me sad thoughts anymore, and that's going back to the mental health issue.
God damn you, brain!
I don't know. It's just, I totally get it. But, okay, so let's use this as an example. Those messages that were deleted in your chat room, I didn't see what they said.
Mm-hmm.
So I can only go outside. And I'm not judging anybody for deleting them, but it's also like, should those be deleted? I don't know what to, if they were just pure hate, then maybe.
Now, yes and no. I'm and that's why I said to pay. I go, if they have something to say, they can have a discussion. But if it's going to be hate filled, then no. Like,
yeah, I don't. It's like I don't know. Was there opportunity to educate or maybe talk to that person? Because obviously people just want to be trolls. People just go, especially on the internet. It blows my fucking mind still in this day and age just how hateful and mean random strangers can be on the internet for no reason. But I do wonder if there are still people that are like genuinely, maybe they just don't know. Maybe they're not aware.
The first one I can read. This is the first one. LGBTQIA plus. And she ended up timing him out. On mental health tag. Is this a joke? Haha. You know, because the T people are in dire need for help. Now, that could be an advocate for trans people, the way that message is there. And them, as an idiot, come in here and they're not listening to the context. I tagged LGBTQ plus A people just because I'm in support of them. It has nothing to do... I'm not going letter mafia plus mental health. It's just... It's the fucking tag.
I don't think either of us really fall into the categories. So
no,
it's clearly just a sign of support.
Yeah, it's just a sign of support. I'm not combining the two together. Now, there's a lot of people in the letter mafia that have mental issues. There's a lot of people that are straight have mental issues. So if you're bridging the two, you're a fucking moron. Like that's not the idea of the tag.
Oh, I was reading chat. Pagan says there's an ally tag for those that are allies, but not LGBTQIA plus themselves. I did not know that.
Yeah, neither did I. Thank you. I learned something today. So that vitriol, and I didn't see the second message. Maybe, like, the fact that
and I'm not judging her for deleting those messages.
Neither am I.
Totally get it.
Yeah, hey, if you could DM it to me, I'd appreciate it. And that I'll make a decision if I want to read it on air or not. But the fact that the person came in and didn't use any tact, they just kind of immediately went on the offense. Like, hey, blah blah blah. Now that opens up for discussion, right? Like if depending on the tact that you take, you could either open up for discussion or attack. Hello, my son and daughter-in-law. Yes, that's one of my sons. He's in the Netherlands right now. But now if the person's like, hey, listen, are you suggesting with your tags? I'm like, no, I'm not adding the tag because, I'm, an ally. I'm talking about mental health. I have mental health issues, blah, blah, blah. Then that would have been, it. But the fact that people want to just spit vitriol before finding out what's going on is stupid. And that goes back to the Joe Rogan shit is, like you, who doesn't watch, and I don't blame you, or like him, that's fine. You don't consume his content or his shit. But are you calling for his head?
No.
Okay.
And as I said, I do think he's an idiot. Well, okay, so I'll put it the other way, though, is that, so people want him silenced, right? Just general public. So they want Spotify to get him off there, or is it just everything? Is this mostly towards Spotify?
Well, they went at Spotify first thinking that they could control it that way, but you have the president or CEO of Spotify going, nope, I stand with Joe Rogan. And then you had a bunch of celebrities like The Rock and a few other people come out and
The Rock did come out, though, and say that he doesn't support him now because he saw the video. But then it sounds like it might not be what it is. That's why, I don't understand how anybody could hear anything and immediately have a reaction to something without going, okay, I got to spend the night. If it's something that I actually truly care about. And, it's like some celebrity I really like. Let's think of a celebrity. Pedro Pascal, okay? The Mandalorian. If something comes out about him and they're just like, someone's like, oh, he did this or that when he was younger, and you have to go look it up. Or James Gunn. We'll say James Gunn, how Disney fired him for his old tweets, and then they realized, oh shit, let's just hire him back because this isn't that big of a deal and the fans want it.
Yeah, well, so, it's like a Kevin Hart situation, too. Sure,
okay. Yeah, there's a lot of them. There's those people who... So they just had... Sorry, I was just reading Pagan's message. Yeah. It's funny, too, and I think a lot of it comes out because of how targeted a lot of these attacks are, even if they're justified, or these people really did do something. So there's a wrestler named Brian Kendrick, who he just got released from WWE, was supposed to premiere on AEW, the rival promotion, on Wednesday night. Turns out Tuesday, someone went and found all these old ass tweets from him from 10 years ago, basically being anti-Semitic. He's super into the extreme conspiracy theories, like Sandy Hook being a false flag, and ones that you just can't even entertain the idea as a rational human being for some of them.
Yeah.
And they put a thing out and said, you know what, after this, we're just not going to bring him on. That's not the type of person that we want in our organization. That guy has been a wrestler for 20 fucking years. And it wasn't until he was going to this new promotion, Arrival, that someone got that information out there that he'd done this. Now, obviously, he never should have said it, and if he actually has those thoughts, fuck him. But it does kind of give that little bit of a negative aspect to it when it's this was all done as a targeted...
Yeah.
Maybe
he doesn't think that way anymore. You know what I mean?
Which is something else, too, because I when I had Facebook and I would go back and see shit that I posted 9-10 years ago, holy shit. I would never say anything like that nowadays, and because I don't feel that way. Not just because I'd get in trouble, but because I was stupid and wrong.
We grew up in the fucking asshole armpit of Ohio, where it's mainly fucking white people.
Oh yeah,
it's really not a lot of culture.
To the point where when I actually encountered people in my life that I knew who were racist, I could not wrap my head around why. What experience have you had that would make you think this way? Because you haven't encountered, you don't deal with any here in town. Deal with, yeah, that sounded great to say it that way. But it's that's the truth. You don't know any black people. So where do you get off even fucking being racist for no reason?
Their parents or an uncle or someone.
I had a really bad experience with a Puerto Rican kid when I was younger. A really bad one. Do you think I hate Puerto Rican people? No. I hate that fucking kid.
Yeah, he just happens to be Puerto Rican.
Yeah. So, and because they're, there's no Puerto Rican kids either. They all because it was a confrontation down at the beach in Conneaut, and they were all from out of town. I was just what the fuck?
Yeah, but obviously that wrestler was being targeted for
Yes.
So they brought up some old shit.
I'm jumping all over.
No, it makes sense in context of what we're talking about. It's the same thing with Rogan in the past week or so. Hate him or love him is they want to shut them. Well, there's a large group of people that are in power that want to shut him up, and they're rallying the woke culture, the super woke. I won't say like all woke culture is bad, but they want to silence him. And what you're doing is you're taking away your right to free speech. Not just, I'm not talking about Rogan. If Rogan fucking quit today, he's fine. But,
and the world will be okay.
And the world will be fine without him. But what you're doing is you're taking away even more of our rights to say what the fuck we want. You know what I mean? Like, the English have free speech, mostly, not as much as we do. There are a few things they can't fucking talk about. But we can't, with how much our country is run by, money, we can't give away any more power and fuck ourselves over. If you don't like what someone has to say, don't listen to it. Let them say it. Let them say it.
Yeah.
And
well,
just
but
move
look
on.
at Alex Jones.
Okay.
Alex Jones, I think, has pretty much been canceled. He has dangerous thoughts. Yeah, like he has dangerous things he puts, even if he doesn't believe them. But he is like, he was a Sandy Hook truther. He, there's some other like classic ones that it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But like they've silenced him for the most part. Do you think that he should be silenced? Like, do you think that he should have those? I don't know, because like I said, don't watch Joe Rogan. I don't know how dangerous the things he says are, other than giving a platform to people.
Let me put it this way: it's not Alex Jones level.
Okay, all right.
Crazy shit.
Yeah. It's, if we do things just to protect other people from it, there are so many things that we could be doing, and then it just turns into controlling their lives. I really liked McDonald's when I was little. And I ended up being a big fat guy, and I'm trying to get rid of that. But it's like, I've been fat my whole life. How does that not affect other people when it comes to, like... Well, just when it comes to me, let's say. Like, being unhealthy and not taking care of yourself. How are those not detriments to, like, society as a whole, that we have so many people in our country that... Not only don't take care of themselves, but don't know how to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
That they were never taught. Really... Everything that we talk about, I think, comes down to just failure of education and just getting people educated. But also with those people who get so upset, that clearly shows like they don't have the emotional maturity to deal with the things that are being heard. Instead of hearing something and actually thinking about it and, maybe talking about it with somebody or thinking it over on your own, it's like it's just immediately a reaction. I didn't like what I heard. Maybe it made me think of something I didn't want to think about. We need to stop it from coming out. I guess, it's sort of all over, but it's...
But if you don't have discourse, you can never work through shit.
Exactly. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, people who would rather just shut the things off that they don't want to hear and don't want to see and not be a part of it, then you're cutting yourself off from growing. You're never going to get past anything that you feel. It's like, and I understand, like, hold on, let's see, pagans. Is there a middle ground between protecting free speech, protecting a platform's right to police the content it hosts a platform, and protecting the general interest of the public at large, from a terrorist group from forming, etc.?
I mean, there's a lot of nuance to it.
Yes, and that's why there's so many complex things that go into anything that we're talking about. Anytime I hear anything, I rarely have an opinion immediately formed, especially when it comes to this, because there's so much that goes into it. Is Joe Rogan dangerous? I think that's the big thing that people are trying to make it out to be. He's dangerous because of the things that even if he doesn't say them, he lets other people say. Well, that didn't work, so now let's make him be a racist.
Yes.
To try to get rid of him, because now he's a racist too. Very easy to attack somebody and form it that way. And with the way media is now, and how... More cushioning for the pushing as a fat guy. That's right. The way the media is now, how the fuck could any human being trust anything that they see put in front of them? Like, look at the last... Well, you haven't been watching it, but that last episode of Book of Boba Fett, they have Luke Skywalker. The entire thing is AI down to his dialogue and his voice. It was all recreated with a computer.
And you can't tell, can you?
You can if you pay attention, but it's getting better and better and better. And in 10 years, you're going to be able to put out a video of, Vladimir Putin, who died 5 years ago, but guess what? He's still running Russia because he's on the news right there. It really is.
The super deep fake shit. I mean, it's pretty fucking good now.
And how can you expect a person who has no idea that kind of shit even exists to be able to look through bullshit? And that's the thing, people will say, like, well, he's Joe Rogan. Everybody knows Joe Rogan. They listen to him. Why would he have somebody on who might say something that I shouldn't hear or that could be dangerous? It's what they had back in the day with the news. Well, it's on the news. Why would it be a lie? Why wouldn't it be true? It's obviously good for us to hear this. But it's not true anymore.
It's not true because there's no Fifth Estate anymore. It's all opinion pieces.
And it literally is. It's not to keep you educated. It's to get you to know what they want you to know or to think what they want you to think. Now we're getting into kind of conspiracy.
Yeah.
I think but I also think it's very true and has been proven to be true that we're just... I don't know, but then you sit there and say, how can you not question everything? And look at what we have with the vaccinations and everybody questioning that. And we just get done saying, you got to question everything. You can't just blindly listen to... But you should listen to that because it's going to contribute. It's going to hurt people if you don't.
Yeah, and even I'll come out and say that I think if you don't have any underlying health issues, you should get vaccinated.
Yeah,
that's my belief. I am not a doctor. I'm not a fucking scientist. It's just my belief. But at the same time, it's your body, it's your choice. If you can't give me a good reason why you're not getting the vaccination, like health reasons or something like that, then you're just a fucking asshole. I'm not going to hate or love you, but, things will change. Like, maybe I just won't see you in person, blah, blah, blah.
Well, that's because they're going to die. Yeah. And you just won't have to deal with them anymore. I have that at work because there's, a couple of younger people I work with who I really, really like, and they won't get vaccinated for various reasons that they have. And it's I just look at them and just okay, I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, I'm not either.
And I think maybe they've heard it all, but then maybe they haven't. Because maybe they just hear the same shit over and over. Maybe their parents don't do it, so they don't want to do it.
Yeah, maybe.
Trust me, when I was their age, I thought my mom was the fucking smartest person in the world. Well,
yeah, we find out about our parents.
But yeah, we find out oh shit, our parents are actually just human beings who have their own problems and can be kind of fucked up in their own way. They just hide it when we're younger, or we just don't understand. So.
Oh, here's a great point. My brother made this point, and talking with his therapist is, because there's certain things in your the way you view your parents will always change, and here's why. And I never thought of this. Is who do you think in the past 38 years has changed? Your parents or you? You would be 36.
Yeah.
Who do you think has changed?
I don't know. I'm sure we both changed a lot. I only have my mom to worry about, so I got a little bit easier. But
this still works. But who do you think's changed, your mom or you?
Probably me.
Correct. Why?
Yeah. Well, just because you grow, you're changing as a person. You still have to get up there to that point where they're at.
You're an adult now.
Yeah.
You've gone from a child to an adult. Your mom's always been your mom.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. That's when you look at your... I think about that sometimes when I think about, my grandma. And it's when I think about ages, and it's how old I am now, and what my parents were doing, or, my mom was doing, how old she was. It's it kind of blows my mind that when she was my age, I was 16. So, it's a completely different experience, too, growing up and in life, so... Yeah, but then when your parents stop meeting them for that parental reason.
Yeah,
I think that's when relationships change.
Like friends or colleagues.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. I kind of want to interject with that, but with going back to the kind of the media thing is everyone kind of is taught to look into their party like news-wise or whatever, this goes back to media being like you can't trust them, is you also just look into your own echo chamber. Like, that's all you want to hear. You don't look at the other side of the field or the tracks or fence, whatever the fuck you want to say, and which leads to less discourse. I mean, it's no different if you took some of our rights to say shit away. But that's part of the problem. That's like this whole like obviously trying to silence Rogan is obviously an attack on free speech. 153 over 96, but I've had a drink. So. But like I said, love or hate him, like that's taken away. Like Alex Jones, as much as I don't want to admit it, no, I don't think he should be silenced. Even though I think he's the most dangerous, venomous person that probably spews shit out.
At least one of.
I can't defend the First Amendment without defending that bullshit. Just because if you're gonna have that, you have to have it all, and if you can't grow up and go, okay, this seems fucking insane. Let me listen to other shit and figure out what the deal is. Hi, Iro. That something went wrong, like in your teachings or your growing up. Like, and that's not on society. That's like, there's got to be some level of.
It kind of is though, because if we have, that's the thing. If we're to the point where we need to keep people quiet because they might, corrupt someone else or give them misinformation, like, you failed as a country. Your entire society has failed, mostly starting at the top.
But this isn't the fucking 50s where you have 3 channels. Dude, we have all the information we want right here at your literal
maybe that's
fingertips.
Wrong. Maybe that's wrong, Mike. Maybe we were never supposed to have that information. Maybe we as human beings cannot fucking handle the things that we have. And I think there's a good chance we are advancing technologically to the point where we're just going to fucking kill ourselves because there's not going to be any use for us anymore. There's
too much. Maybe that's it. It's too much fucking power for us. Technology has outgrown our ability to be living beings.
You think of how much your mind has fucking deteriorated over the years because of all the shit that you've crammed into it. Now we have generations of kids growing up just completely overstimulated with shit just bashed into their heads like every fucking day. Can you imagine how messed up they're gonna be? How many fucking problems they're gonna have?
How many kids have taken a bike off a jump and fallen off and got rubber burn on their nuts because they landed on the back wheel, or not a lot.
Not as
anymore.
Many in the past year or the past few years as there were when we were younger.
Yeah, dude, I got fucked up all the time. Like, we were bored, so we, you jumped on your bike and you went to some woods, or you did shit. Like, now it's like, even as a gamer, like, I spent a lot of time gaming, but like as a child, I spent a lot of time outside.
Oh yeah, not nearly as much anymore. And you don't see them. I'll ride around town. You don't see fucking kids out in the yard playing or doing anything. They don't exist anymore.
No,
they keep them in the basement. They're on their computers and their tablets and their PlayStations and all that. We sound like old fucking dudes right now, just bitching about the youth. But I also am saying I do think they might do better in the long run than the rest of us, just because they are more just aware of things like complex issues, social issues, things like that. Which really, social issues in the end, that's the human race. That probably affects us more than anything, because you say a social issue and people be like, oh, people are rude to a certain demographic. And it's actually like a lot fucking worse than that, and our country has been poisoned, so...
Well, not the world in general has been poisoned by...
Well, yeah, the world.
By social media and all of it. It's all fucking vitriol.
Were we talking on the show, one of the shows that we were doing a stream about how much more, like Yahoo chats? When I was younger and I first got a computer, I would get into Yahoo chats, and like, it was so cool to me that I could get on there and talk to somebody from the other side of the country, from the other side of the planet, as long as we could speak the same language. and like that was the coolest fucking thing to me.
American.
And I feel like, yeah, and I feel like, yeah, you guys speak American in here.
You speak fucking American, man.
Very little. But yeah, it's like I can't tell you the last time. Well, with Twitch, it's kind of gotten to that point where I've like made internet friends from like other parts of the world, but I feel like there was such a period when that just died with technology and the internet, like connection. Nobody was worried about connecting anymore.
Well, look at me. I found my 2 bastard kids in the UK.
Yeah, so. Exactly. And I actually like legit found like I have like a friend in Australia that I DM all, like we talk to each other all the time on there, and it's just like some random person who we're in a chat room and talking. It's like, hey, and it's like I haven't had an experience like that since I was 14 years old. Well, probably older than that, like 16, 17, but yeah.
Yeah, get all uppity now. If you keep that shit up, your skinny brother's going to become my favorite again. Yeah, what up? But, okay, so I think, and I also made a YouTube video about the First Amendment thing is as much as you don't want to admit it, you have to let the bad out with the good.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to fucking filter it out. Like, that's, as humans, that's what we need to do. Like, as grown-ups, as guardians to children, you need to teach them the right thing. Look at, I think racism is it'll never be gone, but it will. Mm-hmm. It's definitely lessened since I think we've been children. Like our parents obviously grew up like, you know what I mean? Like I watched my dad going from, calling all black people N-words to he doesn't even use it, and like he's changed his views because my brother and I, we've left small Ohio. We've gone and traveled. Mm-hmm. We've lived other places. We've made friends with people of all different cultures and backgrounds and religions. And he's seen us be friends. We brought him around, and he's seen that color and religion and all this shit is not, a way to judge people. It's about judging people by their character. Now, if you're like a cunt from Wales or the UK, like that's a whole nother story, though.
Yeah, I can say growing up I didn't see too many. I just didn't experience too many racist people, just because, as we said, there wasn't a whole lot of black people around, so there wasn't a chance for them to let those feelings out, I guess, at least in front of me.
Get some egg steaks, Stamy.
I will say, huh?
No, sorry, I was just talking to chat. Go on.
I will say that, like, in the past few years, I have encountered, like, I'm going to say some of my wife's family who are incredibly fucking racist to the point where it's like a parody, but they're legit and very serious. And it, like, the first time I met these people, like, someone said something, it was like, this person's wife was like, well, I don't mean to be racist. And he was just like, oh, I mean to be racist. White power. And I was just like, holy shit. Like, this was not what
Don't clip that, by the way.
Yeah, right. But then the thing was, and then I'm sitting there just thinking, like, this guy just said something so reprehensible, but they have just been so kind and nice and pleasant to me. Like, I'm sitting at their table eating the food that they, like, are providing us, and also they're just being as nice as can be to us. And then he just said something just...
And he's like, about them Jews, and you're like, oh, fuck, but this meat's really good, though.
Yeah, and it's just like, and there's that part of me that I just want to be like, you racist sack of shit. And there's another part that's just like, thank you for giving me a spot at this table and eating this food. I don't know if I want to be at this table anymore, but thanks. I don't know. That's my problem, is that I'm just like too nice in any situation. I encountered that working when I moved down here. I worked with people who would just say the N-word like it was nothing. And I just remember just being shocked. Like, people just do that. I can't get my head around it. No matter how fucking mad I've been at somebody, how pissed off. Like, I could never do something like that, or...
Like, not to say that I've never said it in joke or anything, like... But I would have
I say it all the time, right? I just walk around the house saying it.
I've had customers use like very racist terms in front of me, and it's like they're not making a joke, they're making a statement. And it's like, and you can't fucking say anything. I mean, you can, but that...
Why do you think I think that? Like, that's my thing. It's like, why are you looking at me and thinking that I think the same thing that you do? Is it because I'm white? You just assume that I'm as much of a piece of shit as you are? I'm sure a lot of people would just assume that, because that does seem to be the puppet. Not going to get into angry white guy mode, but it does seem like they kind of get thrown under the bus a lot. That's fine. Fuck them. But, yeah, just because I am white does not mean I'm going to sit here and fucking, you know, throw racial slurs around with you because you think that that's fucking cool.
Yeah, and you think all other white people are fucking racist pieces of shit.
Yeah. Who, me? I do, yeah.
Yeah.
oh, no, yeah, I mean, I just assume they're all racist, but... No, I don't.
I give people a chance, and then I find out they're racist or homophobic or transphobic.
That's always the thing, too. It's like... people are fucking scum. I need to tell you that. And I know I'm going to sound like a fucking... just the typical asshole who says that. Like, I am never going to look at anybody from any group, any demographic, and not think there's a good chunk of those people that are huge pieces of shit. It's just the way it is. You gotta learn what you want to fight for, and that's why I just don't support anybody for any reason.
I see that where I'll give people a chance till I find out who they are.
Yeah,
I can't, because I can't have this fight about like the First Amendment thing like until, you know, and I never wanted to take a stance on this, like, but I feel like right now is the time.
The world needs it. They need your stance.
That not just me, but like anyone needs to stand and be like, listen, it's this is obviously people in power trying to shut the people up. Like, we can't let that happen. We can't let it fucking happen. We just be like, fine, yeah, Joe Rogan fucked up. He's not a racist. He in context used the N-word, but people fucking cut it up to where it's out of context.
For some people, that's all it takes, though. That's the thing. For some people, it doesn't matter about the context. It's that you said that word, and it doesn't matter the context. It's like, oh, let's ban books, literature from back in the day because it said something, you know, like let's ban Tom Sawyer because it has the N-word in it. It's like, why? Like, well, that's still.
Did you know they've edited that out?
Have they really?
Yep.
Yeah, I fucking hate that, man. It existed. It was there. Like, if you want to put it... No, I'm not even going to say...
I don't know. I think they just completely took it out. They just call him Jim.
But now the Family Guy joke isn't going to make any sense at all.
Yeah, not to anyone else in the future.
Think about all those generations of children who are going to grow up watching Family Guy, not know what N-word Jim means.
That's our word. But in context, like, that makes fucking sense. Like, look at the time, like, it makes sense. Even, like, I don't know how much Stephen King you've ever read, but, like...
A lot.
He uses the N-word a lot. I don't think anyone calling for his fucking head, but there's a reason why he's writing it. It's to make a point. It's not a racist point. It's, okay, I have this black character. They went to this situation. These people are racist. They're meant to be hated. So you make them these fucking piece of shit people that say horrible things or do horrible things, and it's made you to make you not like him. There's a reason for him using that word other than just to use it.
Yeah. But he's a bad guy because he wrote the word. And he has that word, and he obviously carries that word inside of his heart since he can use it. I'm just saying, like, arguments that they can make. Like, oh, he put it out there, though. And that's the thing, like, what's the difference between what Joe Rogan is saying? I don't know, maybe if it's portrayed as, news, which I've never seen Joe Rogan portrayed as news. I've always, seen him the same way I see Mark Maron. Like, he's just some dude who talks to people who might have something else. And, whatever. But I kind of lost focus of what I was saying. Everybody wants to get mad and that's okay because that's what our world. See, we're gonna sit here, and it's so hard to say anything to criticize, like, and this is gonna be here too. The woke movement. Oh, what a fucking fat piece of shit just said woke movement in a demeaning way. But it's like, because we're sitting here talking about it. Yeah, it's gonna be like, well, obviously that they're just two white guys who sit there and say that. What opinion should they even have on it?
We all have a right to have an opinion.
Well, because they just act like it's just like we're.
Here's the pendulum swing. Is there has been horrible shit done against people of color, different non-Christian races, or religious backgrounds, and now it's swung over to where we have this uber woke culture, to where they're so woke, they're as bad as the racists and xenophobes. Mm-hmm. We're on the far left now when it was far right, and we need to swing it back towards the middle.
Well, they do that thing where they just kind of reach around to the back, and then they become the same thing, where it's just censorship. And that's why I was so confused, because growing up, I always thought it was like a conservative thing to censor everything. You know, like it was like a Christian conservative. Let's stop people from saying stuff. And now it has swung around to it's the liberal side that is trying to censor and keep. It's just everybody's trying to censor everybody. Everybody tries to censor anybody that they don't want to hear, or they say the things they don't want. It's just fucking human nature. This is never going to stop, and it's never going to end.
The edge has been taken off a bit, though. I just think we're on the other edge of the pendulum now.
I hope so, but it does seem like we've been doing a lot of reverting in the past couple of years, and I don't know if that's like a last attempt of just being like, no, fuck you, I'm not going to do this. Like that, because that's what all this is. It's just being rebellious in their mind. Like, that's what it is now. Being a rebel is just being a dumb piece of shit. And so that's why it's so popular, and everybody just like promotes those fucking stupid ideas and says the stupid shit they say. That's why it's popular to be a troll. That's what people are now, like you.
Yeah, I am a troll, but
but people have just shot that into just everyday life, and I like being able to choose what I listen to too, which is what Cramp Style said. And I hate the idea. Once you make something harder to find, then it becomes like a big deal. Like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be listening to this. Maybe I should find it, you know. Like, I'll say it like as a person who watched a lot of movies growing up. It's like if I had a hard time finding a movie, it made it that much more enticing to me. Like, this has got to be something fucking crazy to see if no one is letting me, like, making it available to watch.
It's just like, I was watching Steve-O's podcast last night with Corey Feldman, and how his documentary has been completely stricken from everything.
Yeah.
And how, like Feldman says, he's been like there's been attempts on his life for trying to out these people that in Hollywood.
And then that's one of those things where there's that party that thinks everything could be 100% legit and he could be telling the truth. And then there's the other part that's like, is he a fucking nut job and he's just trying to like stir shit because he doesn't have anything going on? I don't think he is. I think he's probably legit. But there is that like that mindset. Everything you come across, what is really going on in this situation. So I don't know. It's hard to know who to listen to, who to trust, what to actually put your faith in, I guess.
And I think that's why all information should be out there, because if you just have one side of it, then you're never going to really know.
But then you run into who is putting that information out there. Where are those books coming? Are they coming from fucking Texas, where apparently slavery was a completely different experience than it was for a school in the North? It's like you still have to see who's putting that information out there. Even the the shit we teach our kids. What are we gonna do? We all just gonna fucking homeschool our kids and just teach them what we want them to learn?
You could say the same thing about the government. Like, they're putting out what they want anyways. Like, here's one of the greatest quotes: "The victors always write the history books."
Yeah, exactly. So, but why then? This is the thing I don't understand. Why then are the victors writing it to put a spin on the history to make it look like the losers weren't as big of losers as they fucking were?
I don't know.
That's what I'd like to know.
I'm just saying, like, it's you got to put that into thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because at some point, the victors are gonna totally write some bullshit to manipulate the people. And
that's
I think
the cynical part of my mind.
I think we've come to the point as a world, as a society, as a world, where people are the people of power are starting to do that. I don't think it was that big of a thing like 100 or so years ago, but I think now it's really getting into the okay, we're going to start changing shit slowly. We're going to start being decisive with this technology we have. Fucking pit people against each other. We're going to use information and deceiving ways to make these people hate those people, this person hate that person.
Which has been going on since the fucking U.S. was pretty much around, like, originated. I've read a lot about, like, where, like, theories as to where this country kind of went wrong. Some of it ties back to, like, World War II, and the government became so dependent on these big companies for, like, to fight in the war that they became, like, dependent on them for everything, and that's how these companies got all the power, and why our entire country is just run by corporations now. And then there's also, 9/11. A lot of people would think, say that all of our shit stems from that. Like, we talk about giving our stuff away. Look at the fucking Patriot Act.
Yeah, Patriot
and all
Act.
the stuff that human beings... These same people who are talking about the government wanting to take over and put chips in your body with a vaccine, they're the same fucking idiots who are all about the Patriot Act because, hey, we got to stop those brown terrorists.
Yeah, it's so funny that thank you for bringing that up because people that believe in the Patriot Act don't believe in the vaccine.
Yeah,
or they have, like, crazy conspiracy theories about it.
Yeah, just to get them so they don't have to do something, because they need to be... People who have ideas like that, like, they want to be so important, and they're not, and that kills them. They want to be the smart person who sees through the bullshit and knows what's really going on. They're the fucking hero of their own story. They're going to try to save as many people as they can. They're going to tell us, like, dude, no, don't do that. It's not good for you. Like, they want to be that person to save the fucking day because they were so in tune with things. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, but they think they're being altruistic and helping, but they're not.
They do, but it's also like it really is just their desire to be important. And maybe that's the big problem. Maybe this country just does a really poor job of making anybody feel like they're fucking, have any kind of use whatsoever. But I do think that that's a lot of it. Like, I don't have anything to contribute to society in the way that I want to or in a meaningful way. And I heard this idea, and I think there's more to it. And I'm going to do what I can to get to the fucking bottom of this, because all I really need to do is just get on the internet and Google a bunch of shit, and suddenly I'm an expert. I think that's what a lot of those conspiracy theories come down to. People need a fucking hobby.
But here's the thing, is if you can't learn to look at things objectively, then you're just going to read into your own biases.
And so then that goes to, what do we do when we get to the point where we question everything? And I'm the person, I look to the people who I trust and respect, and I see what they're doing and kind of follow their lead. If I don't know, that's just general life. If I run into a situation where I really truly don't know, and that comes down to anything, I go and get a fucking a flu shot. I'm trying to think of something other than a vaccine or something. Anything that I have to go. I go to the doctors. Generally, I'll do it. The medicine I'm on, my blood pressure medicine. I haven't fucking taken apart the pill and got under it with a microscope and actually seen every fucking thing that's in this pill. I take it because my doctor says this is going to help you, and I trust her. Now, could she fuck me over? Sure. Maybe she ends up being a bad doctor. That's life. That's just shit. You gotta fucking roll the dice and go with it. You can't stop, That's what I do. And then if I follow people and like, I respect somebody and they start saying something that I just kind of think, I don't know, that doesn't sound... Like, I've questioned people who I really respected and have realized maybe they don't know as much as I thought they did at one point. So... It happens. You just
Thank you. You just reminded me I need to get a refill on my blood pressure medicine.
Very good. Yeah, every single human being on this planet is fallible, and every single person has said something they shouldn't have. They've upset somebody. They've offended somebody. If you're listening to this right now, you've been a fucking prick to someone before who didn't deserve it, and you've been a bad person at least once in your life. It's okay. It's okay. We've all. Yeah. And maybe there's some people who just think like, I've had these shitty thoughts and these things, and people look at me this way. I'm never going to be any different. I'll just fucking go right along with it. Just be the person that everybody thinks I am. But you don't have to be that way either. So, you can always change.
Yeah, that's stupid as fuck. The UK made, like, if you shit on ginger people, it's fucking racist. No one gives a fuck about ginger people. Fucking, like, I understand, like hating on gays and queers and shit over there, like that's illegal. I'm for that, but fucking gingers, holy fuck!
I want to isolate that. Yeah. I'm for hating on gays and gingers or gays and whatever you said, queers.
Yeah, I'm not for hating on queer like that the letter mafia. Gingers 100%. Speaking of which, we got one speaking up.
Oh shit! You're in trouble now.
One of the big G's.
Is it racist if you think gingers are hot?
Lady gingers,
only if it's specifically gingers, then yeah. You only like them because they're gingers. I think there's a problem with that.
I think lady gingers have like this thing that's built into them. They always have like fat asses.
That's not true at all.
I don't think I've ever seen a ginger without a fat ass.
I will show you one.
Okay, you'll have to show me one.
You're just talking about women? Because I was going to say Alan does not have a big fat ass.
No, just women. I'm okay with lady gingers. It's the male gingers.
I've seen some lady gingers with not big fat asses. I'm sorry, Mike.
I hate to break off the edge of my dick. Okay, so I'm going to use this as next into the big one that might really turn people off here.
Okay.
This is the second part of that message that pagan banned from the chat. If a group of people, by the way, your sister AM Mister is the fucking this person's Twitch handle. If a group of people need extensive mental health care, ... maybe there actually is something wrong with their brain, ? Get them some help and don't promote that shit. Counterproductive. Once again, came in with no context, and they're bitching about the letter mafia that had letter mafia tagged and mental health. They're not two exclusive things we're talking about today.
I want to know how that person thinks that affects them.
I don't know.
Like I get I get it, and that I understand their mindset. I'm not agreeing with it, but it's like a racist person. They seem so afraid of losing the white race. Like that's kind of their thing. Like, oh, we're erasing the white race. It's being diluted and mixed. Which who the fuck cares? Like in 1,000 years, if the human race even exists, there aren't going to be any just white people left anymore. Mm-hmm. You know. Everything's going to be so mixed up, it's not going to matter. And is that what it is? Like, they're just so afraid and they just think they're so special that they can't, like, let that happen? I don't know. Like when he says, and for that person, it's like, it's not, there's no progress or whatever, or it's anti-progress. I don't remember what he said, but it's like...
They're basically what they're saying is trans people are fucked up mentally. And that promoting trans people is against their mental health. Is there body dysphoria? Fuck yeah, there is. But it doesn't mean that it's not real and that they wouldn't be happier as the opposite sex. I mean, granted, a lot of trans people that do get full blown gender swaps sometimes end up killing themselves. Sometimes they're happier than they could ever be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's not up for an individual to decide, or even society. I wish I've got an old coworker and friend. She's a trans female. I worry about her because while working together, she has gone through almost every single religion. Now she's transitioning to be a female. I just don't want her to make the wrong decision and end up killing herself. That's the only thing I worry about.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to stand here and go, no, you can't do that. You're fucked up mentally. Who am I to say that? Like a psychologist, and actually, this person's psychologist was actually helping with this transition. I think her psychologist was actually going, listen, if you really believe this, let's take steps, the appropriate steps to get you there, before you make a horrible decision and you end up making a step that you can't reverse and you regret it later.
Yeah, that's always my big fear with seeing people who go through that it's like, oh god, I hope it's not like a tattoo where you regret it in 10 years and then you're just like embarrassed because you got a fucking tattoo. I completely changed my body chemistry and became a completely new person. Kind of hard to take that back.
Yeah. And
especially if you didn't realize, maybe, I don't know, and we can't, that's the other thing, we could sit here and we could speculate all we want, but we haven't gone through that. I've never had a thing where I was just like, I have had a thing where I'm uncomfortable in my body, but it's because I'm a big fat boy, not because I didn't feel like I should be something else. I can't relate to what goes on in their mind, or what they're thinking, or anything like that. But really, to me, it's just, does it hurt you? Does it affect you? Are you afraid? Like, what's the fear that one day you're going to have a kid and they're going to go, well, I don't know, I actually think we'd be better if this one was a girl instead of a boy. You know, like, what kind of bizarre shit's going on in their head that they would even get upset about another person wanting to do that? Like if I had a child who was going through that, I'd be like, okay, let's go to therapy. Let's figure out what's going on. Let's try to make you as happy as can be. And if all else fails, then we'll go to, like, whatever the next level is.
Yeah, it's like your son getting pissed at your son, your young son, if you had one, playing dress up with the girls. Maybe nothing comes of it. Maybe he ends up being straight, or maybe a crossdresser. Maybe, we don't fucking know. But just let the shit fucking play out.
And I say this as a person who, I was raised by women. Like, I was surrounded by women and, like, grew up in a house full. Not a house full, like my mom and my sister. And, like, I've had all my friends and male friends and male cousins, but I also had a lot of female cousins. So, just to me, it's like, if it's all just, like, the way they're raised, like, people are raised and what they want to do, whether we're talking about, a transgender issue, sexuality issue, just general life norms, I kind of feel like, well, I'm a good example of, you can't just base it all on that, because I'm not gay. I'm not, like, I don't know, I guess I am pretty,
I think we're all
far more
gay.
Emotional than, yeah, well, I mean, I am. I mean, I sit there and say that, I'm just not, like, full-blown to say it, but I can appreciate the male figure.
Yeah, like, we all want to fuck Ryan Reynolds.
How you could say I'm not at least a little gay in a world with Daniel Craig in it, like, that's when I know you're just
That's your go-to?
Shit. I think Daniel Craig is a gorgeous human being.
It's Ryan Reynolds.
Did you know that they actually made, the scene in Casino Royale when he's coming out of the water, when he's in the ocean? And
it's with the white Speedo on?
Yes. Someone made a fucking sucker out of that. Like an actual, of his figure coming out of the water in his Speedos.
That's fucking awesome.
That is how incredible he is as a human being.
That is fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
We're all gay. That's it. We're all part of the letter mafia. So, and this is going to be probably the hottest button thing we talk about.
All right.
You know about this, because I mentioned it before we started, just so you, like, I wanted to make sure you knew something about it. And I would have been fine if you didn't know it either, because this is kind of just, I want to get people's opinion on it. Obviously, I'm going to give mine. Once again, it's an opinion and how I see it. Frost Kieran of G4 TV about 3 weeks ago went on a rant. The basis of it I can get on board with, of discriminating women, like, through, like, Twitch or whatever. So, she was saying, like, oh, you're saying how I'm not hot, or, like, I get extra bullshit because I'm a woman. Frost Kieran, I agree with you 100%. No one should be shat on because of their gender, sexual orientation, any of that. Now, but she just goes off on a rant because these people were kind of like giving her shit because she looks the way she looks. The way she looks now is not attractive to me, but I've seen her look very, very attractive. But people are just like, oh, you fucking no one wants to fuck you, blah, blah, blah. And she basically went on a rant, and just please go search this video out because I'm not going to play it on here because I don't want to get
flagged.
Strike. Yeah. She basically goes on a rant saying how she's not Olivia Munn or Morgan Webb, one of the old hosts on G4 TV that are attractive females. And how
Olivia Munn, is she the Quiet Place?
No.
Or is that... Okay, sorry. I'm trying to get her
name right now.
That's all right. It's
she played Psylocke in X-Men
okay,
Apocalypse.
All right.
Okay. And so instead of turning it into like a don't shit on women, it was basically a fucking cry out that you guys don't like me because I'm not hot.
Well, but first off, there's no such thing as an unfuckable woman. There's always someone that's gonna fuck you. I'm telling you this as a person who just I know. Doesn't matter how fat you think you are or how ugly you think you are, whatever is going on. Even if you are fat and ugly, just the most disgusting person in the world, someone will fuck you. Probably not the person you want to fuck you.
But someone will.
That's just not the way. Someone will fuck you, though. Don't worry about it. And it's not even like in a bad way. Like, they will be happy to do it. But you probably just don't want that person to do it. So, hey, maybe lower your standards a little bit.
Yeah. And so she's going on this rant, and it's fucking derailed very quickly. Like, I feel bad for Jared, who's the completionist who is hosting the shit. No.
He's had a lot of bad shit.
Not that Jared.
I hear he's been looking pretty thin lately.
Yeah. Because they were talking about something, and then she went off on this rant, calling out sexism, which she derailed herself into it being that she's not hot. And then she had the black host next to her just hyping her up, and then Adam Sessler on the screen, who I used to adore and respect, but now I don't and he's just like, they make videos of him going like this and like make steel sounds with it from that video because he's toxic as fuck too, and he thinks he's woke. Like he goes how he wants to piss on his dead Republican relatives.
Yeah.
So he, like, even if you're a little bit far right, like, he thinks you're scum and should be dead, which is fucking insane.
He's gonna have a very lonely life.
He's somehow married.
Or maybe not. I don't know.
And this whole tirade goes on, and they basically go, well, if you don't like what we have to say, then you can fucking not follow us or watch us. They are hemorrhaging fucking money.
Okay, that's how the world works. So
yeah,
they took a chance, and they stuck to their guns, and now they're paying for it. And
they attacked their own fucking audience, and they're leaning even harder into it. And this is where woke culture has gone completely off the rails, and this is the far left of it. Because her point started off good, but then just ended up being about her. Which...
as most woke issues are.
Yeah. So you basically ruined what you wanted to say, made it about you. Yeah. And the shit she was bitching about, and this is another thing where your past shit can come and bite you in the ass. She has gone on record to say... because I guess she is a lesbian, that she treats women like the toxic male men treat women.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I mean, look what happened with Alan. I mean, her career's over because they found out just how much of a toxic piece of shit she is.
Who?
So, Ellen DeGeneres.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that's the thing too, though, is that at least some of these people, like they're being punished for their actions, like and their overreactions and shit like that. So, really, in the end, people can throw a fit about whatever they want, but it all comes down to like what the customer wants and who they're going to listen to. Maybe you don't want to listen to them anymore because of the attitudes, then fine. Like, that's exactly how it should work. People don't want to hear what you have to say. No one's listening. And, they're probably not going to die from it, but they're not going to be at the level that they used to be. Whoopi got canceled for thinking she was woke. Yeah. I didn't hear about that.
She said something about the Holocaust not being a big thing.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, and she doubled down on it, too. You know what? I kind of got to respect that. Like, fucking go with it.
That was one of the things that Brian Kendrick got in trouble for, too, was talking about how the Holocaust just wasn't as bad as people made it out to be.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, this Frost Kieran people and G4TV are doubling down on her. You okay?
Whoopi Goldberg fucking worked with Steven Spielberg, who is, like, the most powerful Jew in Hollywood, and who what is wrong with people?
I have a feeling she might be a little Jewish somewhere down the line, too.
Is there a point when people, like, your brain just stops fucking processing, like, anything that could be different? Or like, just changes it? What is wrong with people?
Thank you, Cramp. She said that the Holocaust wasn't about race.
Because it was white people killing white people.
White people, yeah.
Even though the Nazis did not see Jewish people as white people whatsoever.
Yeah.
What a fucking stupid thing to say. Well, never. See, I was going to ask questions, but if I really want to get worked up about it, I just need to go and watch it for myself.
Yeah. So. I mean, if you want to get worked up about it, this is a great place to do it.
Well, if I got worked up, it would be verbally, and I don't actually know the whole situation. So I want to say, like, was this about her just trying to make it so the black experience was so much worse?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I know couldn't compare, but
here's the thing: I don't know the other context or why it was even said. So
yeah
don't know. What she said was wrong. So I don't agree with what she said.
They didn't even see them as fucking human beings, and she says it didn't have to do with race.
Yeah. So and back to this Frost Kieran thing is then the black guy next to her is another almost masculine toxic person, because on his own Twitch chat he was talking about, I always nut in bitches' mouths. Like okay, and he wasn't like a joke or anything, like being facetious. It was like he was literally talking about it. That's what he does.
I have nutted in a bitch's mouth once. Is that not good? Should I not?
No, but like the way he's talking about it was not in an anecdotal way or like making a joke of it. It was like, no, I always nut in bitches' mouths. It's like,
I can't say I've ever said that to like anybody. I nutted in that bitch. Nope, couldn't do it. And then you had fake do it right now.
Yeah, and then you had Sessler, who was just like his stupid ass on there, and G4, like the senior vice president Blair Hader. He's come out publicly and was basically like, well, if you're a Republican, don't fucking listen to us, and you basically he's just saying to fuck off if you don't. And
it sounds like those uptight assholes and like high on their horses are fucking getting exactly what they deserve. So good.
Yeah, here's the thing: is I will get behind the letter mafia women about when they're like, I can champion them. But in this case, it starts out as a good message of, women in gaming culture about being slandered just because they're a woman, to a message about I'm not as hot as someone else. You totally turned it around, and you tried to turn it into a woke culture moment. And they totally fucked it, and then they tripled down on it, and they're about to shut down the relaunch of G4 TV within months because they got ahead of themselves. there's nothing wrong with fighting for a cause, but like
you got to know your priorities.
You got to like, and think about what the fuck you're saying. Granted, like, I don't say appropriate shit all the time, or in like, and I need to walk back what I say sometimes. But holy fuck, like this whole thing was pretty bad. Like I urge anyone who hasn't seen it, please go look up Frost Gearin on G4.
Started watching it and it just got cringy, and I turned it off because it was like making me uncomfortable to watch.
Yeah, because it wasn't like. There was nothing about it that made you go, yeah, fuck yeah, Friday. It's like, it turned out like, yeah, okay, and then, oh, no.
Hey, I just want to point out, Cramp Style said, imagine a dude on TV complaining that women won't fuck him because he's ugly. There was, that was Elliot Rogers, and he fucking murdered a bunch of women because they wouldn't fuck him. So that was his whole thing. Honestly, I'd rather a woman was on TV just bitching about not getting fucked than taking it out on a bunch of psychos, but maybe that's probably the difference between men and women in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is funny though, like, think of all, like, the not traditionally attractive men who are famous, and it's like, they got by without having good looks, and I don't know if I can think of any... That, exactly, he's like the number one that pops in my head. I don't even think he's an ugly man. I think, he's grown into he looks a lot more normal now, but as he's aged, he's but like women, I don't know, like she's not wrong, like it is a standard thing, like in media, that look at all these old fucking dudes that still work because they're not as important, like when it comes to the way they look, as it is for women. Like it used to be like when a woman turned 30, it was just like, you're not fucking worth hiring anymore. I don't think it's that bad anymore at all, but
yeah. But I just thought it was funny that her intention was to bring light, which is, everyone already knows that the internet's toxic and bullshit. To try and bring light to women in gaming, and all you did was actually bring you about 10 steps backwards. And the fact that they're even the company's doubling down. Now, if I was like Blair Hader or anyone that's running G4, dude, since the new year, she's deleted all her tweets. They won't let anyone post on their forums. I tell you the truth, I would be like, now this is where this the bullshit between all this. So like we talked about Joe Rogan and how like they're trying to fucking destroy him, and in both instances he's come out in these two instances that they're trying to destroy him and be like, listen, I have said fucked up things, or like I shouldn't have said that, blah blah blah, and he's come out and apologized. I would go to Frost Gearin and be like, listen, you need to come out and you need to straighten this shit out, or you're fucking gone. Because
if you're not going to help us fix this, then have the decency to walk away.
Yeah, be like, listen, we understand what you meant, but you need to fucking reword what you said to get it across in the right point. Because we're not gonna do this for you. You either fucking you say what you should have said and how it was meant, instead of, I'm an ugly lesbian that no one wants to fuck.
Now, how are we supposed to know how passionate she is if she doesn't make a scene?
Fair point.
I mean, I need to know she really cares, and the only way I know that people really care is that they're willing to completely humiliate themselves live in front of people for their cause.
She 100% Karen'd it up.
Oh, well.
Like, if you actually watch it, it's very heart-wrenching.
So who is the G4 manager that she had to speak to?
Blair. Yeah. Not knowing at G4, they're all fucking going, yeah, fucking. They're trying to raise her up on this the letter people mafia, but I don't know if the people in the letter mafia as a whole would be down with this.
Yeah, people really need to, like, like if you're gonna have a certain side, you need to make sure the people who you align yourself with are just not like extremist assholes, because in the end they really do hurt your cause far more. Like look at Jussie Smollett. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. He was the actor on some popular show. He was a black actor. He's gay, and he told the police that he was attacked.
Yeah. In Chicago by some white people like Trump.
Yeah, by Trump supporters, and then it all turned out it was all bullshit. It was all made up, and it's like you did nothing but to hurt black people and gay people with the shit that you did.
Yeah.
And you should be fucking ashamed of it. Like your apology should be you need to have a direct apology to the gay community and the black community, because I don't give a fuck what you did. I don't care that you lied, but you know.
Yeah, but what about the people you advocate for? You're
exactly.
You're a celebrity. You know, you see a bigger audience than you and I see, or maybe even we'll ever see. Who knows? You know what I mean? But like, I used to never understand, like, even up in through my 20s, like, why these athletes and celebrities got to act a certain way. You know?
What do you mean?
Like, well, they shouldn't be out. No one should see them out fucked up on drugs or alcohol, or say or do things in public to, you know, that children shouldn't see or hear. I never understood that.
Think that?
Publicly,
you used to think that.
I used to think that. I used to go, why the fuck does it matter? Now I understand that it matters, because young people or impressionable people look up to them, and it could change their course for good or bad.
But it could also, it could be for good. Like, I loved Chris Farley growing up. Fat kid, Chris Farley was like the prime time when I was growing up, you know, and he fucking died from a drug overdose, you know. It's not like I was just thinking like, oh wow, I didn't know he had that kind of lifestyle. It's, you know, fucking cool. It was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, but like, they kept it under wraps though.
They did, and that was probably the difference about back then. Like, there was probably people who knew, but it wasn't talked about in the news. Like, it wasn't just... You can go anywhere and find out information about anything. Everything has a news source now. Even the most mundane, boring shit that you could possibly think of, and you wonder why the fuck would anybody care about this, there's a news source for it.
Yeah, someone will care about this. I don't know who.
Yep.
But hopefully someone big. But it's shit. Like, so I understand, like, when you do have this platform, once again, say what the fuck you want. I 100% agree with your First Amendment right, but do think about what you're doing. You know what I mean?
And
good or bad.
That, it's everybody's right to react to it the way they want to, as well.
Yes.
100%. So that's kind of... Yeah, that's the problem that we come into. It's like, where do we censor people? How much control do we take over people? How much do we save people from themselves? How much do we save people from other people? Like, I don't know. It's such a confusing thing right now.
Yeah, it's a very slippery slope. And,
very much.
And I think what it ultimately leads to is, like, we'll all end up losing a lot of our free speech over it.
I think about movies like The Mist, just as an example. And it's like, you've seen The Mist, right?
With Thomas Jane?
Yeah, and then you have like the crazy religious lady who's, you know, convinced it's all devil work, and she convinced him to fucking sacrifice people and like all this other shit. Like, those are the things that I think about when I wonder, like, how far do we let people go with the shit that they say? Because you look at that movie and it's like, shoot her in the fucking head. Whatever. The minute, like stuff like that tells me if I'm ever in a similar situation, I'm just gonna fucking find that first religious person and just kill them immediately, so that they can't get everybody all fucking worked up and to start doing shit that's insane.
And then start your own religion.
Yeah, but that's, you know, a lot of that comes down to Donald Trump. Look at all the people he has influenced and the followers he has had, and the people he kind of has created a monster that he can't even control, because he goes out there, he'll talk about vaccines, they fucking turn on him. They boo him because that is not something they believe anymore, but he's still sticking with the pro-vaccine thing. Thank God, because I honestly wouldn't be shocked if he just suddenly was like, you know what? Never mind. You're right. Vaccines are a fucking joke.
Don't look up.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like that kind of shows you the dangers of what having people look at fucking January 6th.
Oh yeah.
If we look at all that stuff that happened last year, because people were allowed to just talk and say whatever they want. That's why Donald Trump got knocked off Twitter, right? Because of January 6th.
Yep.
So, I mean, look at that. That could have been a lot worse, and people did die that day, and it could have been a lot worse, but that was entirely because people were following things that people were saying.
Yep. 100%. And that's where I agree with getting shut down. That was insane.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's that fine line. Slippery slope, all those things that go into it. Pretty much every single situation that you run into, it's a completely different. You can't just say, well, we did this when that happened, so it's obviously going to apply to here. I don't think anyways. It's like, yes, there are special circumstances for everything. You can't have a blanket rule over... We have to actually use our fucking brains, unfortunately. We can't just say, no, don't do that, or yes, that's okay. We have to actually think about everything in a certain situation. No one's taking the time to do that. So that's why these things just get shut down. Silenced. That's why people get fired.
Silence is violence. You love that one?
Violence is violence?
No, silence is violence.
Oh, silence is violence.
That's another idiotic saying.
Juicy Smollett.
Juicy Smollett.
I was just looking at the chat. It'd be a smaller list on who wasn't on coke in the 80s and the early 90s. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I just accept... I don't know if we've talked about this on a stream before, but if your parents were like teenagers in the 80s, they did fucking coke. Like, I'm not saying they did it all the time, but they tried coke. Absolutely. And I learned this by talking to somebody and saying, like, no, that happened. They're like, no. Oh, shit, wait, yeah. So.
I've done meth unknowingly. I didn't know.
Oh, really?
Meth. Yeah. Oof, it was laced in some weed. That was the last time I ever smoked weed.
You know, that's the big thing. Like, I talk about, because I have my medical marijuana card, and I've had a bunch of people, like, say, why don't you just buy it, whatever. Because I know when I'm going to the fucking dispensary and buying weed, there's not something in there that shouldn't be in there.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of it is just sometimes just to be safer. And it is more expensive, but I'd rather, not have a horrible experience from some street shit.
Yeah, that was kind of fucked up that, like, someone gave us some weed that had meth in it, and that was the last time.
Now, I will say, it's probably along the same lines. I did give somebody a pitcher of beer with a shot in it once, so, I'm not above poisoning people either.
Little different, but I get what you're saying.
I'm not above hoodwinking people.
Wink, wink.
Sorry, I think my guys are about ready to go outside.
That's all good. I was going to start shutting this down anyways.
All right.
But yeah, just to reiterate about the Frost Gearin thing, I'm not shitting on the letter mafia or women. It's just quite literally she took steps backwards for the cause. And the fact that the company it wants to be so woke that they're willing to fucking shut the company down because of it. Like, you can defend women and the letter mafia. No one's saying not to, but when you make something poisonous and you double down on it as a company, you're gonna fucking fail, 100%. So
to me, it makes as much sense as the one guy who wouldn't get a fucking vaccination, and so he couldn't get a heart transplant because he refused to get a vaccination. Like, you have certain things you have to do. That point made a lot more sense in my head before I said it. See, this is the wonder of live TV. Those are the dangers that you also have. Sometimes you get worked up, like that one lady. and you just start going off because you are passionate about something, and sometimes you just lose the thread and you just come off like a complete fucking idiot. I've been there, you've been there.
Yeah. So
but when you're so stubborn that you just because I just remembered the point that I was making. When you are so stubborn and set in your ways that you just let everything fucking crumble and fail around you, like that CEO, how many people work at that company who don't agree, or at least like don't agree the way she went about things? How many people are going to suffer from that company like collapsing in on itself because they are so fucking full of themselves that they can't just say, hey, maybe it was wrong. And that's what when I think about that guy, it's like that right there shows me this is all about defiance and rebellion in your mind, and you're going to just let yourself, and not just you, but your whole fucking family suffer because you are so convinced that you're right with something that you're thinking and doing. So that was the point I was trying to make.
Yeah. Like I said, if she would have, like, a day or something came back and been like, listen, I know how it came off. This is what I meant.
Yeah.
And redefined what she said, then I think all could be forgiven. But the fact that she doubled down and then the company doubled down.
Well, Mike, what did we just start this off with? You have to admit that you were wrong about something.
100%.
And that is never going to fucking happen with some people. Doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, who you support, what you support. There's a lot of dumb fucking people on this planet, so...
Yes. But anyways, if anyone does have mental issues, please reach out to someone. Go to a psychiatrist. Do what you can. Get yourself on meds if need be.
Or just stream.
Yeah, or
just
do that
stream.
too.
Just get it all out there for the public. You know, there are random strangers on the internet. They'll come and help you, right? Why pay top dollar when you can just get on Twitch and everybody can come and tell you how to fix your problem?
Yeah. So please, if you need help, please search out to the right people to get help, especially if you're having dark, intrusive thoughts. It's never the answer.
People get scared when they have those things, and they think that there's something wrong with them, or they're not right, or they're afraid to tell people because they don't want people to think that they're crazy. And, you know, that's just a stigma that over time will go away as long as people start acting, normalizing it. Everybody's got issues. Every single person on this planet should go see a therapist. I mean, it's just going to help you. But... Thanks, guys. You've taught me that I'm wrong about lusting for gingers. Well, I think Mike's got it right. Just the ones with big fat asses.
Yes, the fat ass gingers.
Now, we'll see. I don't know if her hair's naturally red, but if it's a Penny Pax coming your way, go ahead. Just fucking, she's great. But she might naturally be blonde. I'm not sure.
God damn it! Now I gotta look up who Penny Pax is.
I've seen her with both. She looks good either way. I don't. Oh, you don't know who Penny Pax is?
No, it sounds familiar.
I know.
Is it Pax, P-A-X?
Yeah.
American porn star actress.
She is. She's an actress.
Wow. Looks like I'll be doing something after the stream.
That's right. I'll send you some links.
Yeah. So please, I know Pay has shout out Matt here a few times, 3 a.m. What is it here on Twitch?
On Twitch, it's just my name's 3am Pro. So you can hop on there, look for me on there. On Facebook and YouTube, it's 3am Productions. So yeah, that's it. We're also on Twitter. That's 3am Radio. I know my shit's kind of all over the place. I establish things at different times in my life. And I do have an Instagram that is I don't even remember what the Instagram is. I'll have to get that another time.
Yes, but please go follow him, at least on Twitch. His podcasts are great. I am on, every once in a while, I'm on his Nerd Storm when he has them. So with DigiHuge. So please go follow him. I hope you all had a great day. This is my third Deathversary. Celebrating it, not lamenting it. So please, everyone, have a great day. I'm not going to raid today because this is about me. So everyone, have a great day. Matt, you got anything else?
No, thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed this. Had fun talking with you, and yeah, thanks to everybody that came on. Pagan, Cramp Style. I saw Eugene on earlier. Everybody else that popped in and contributed. It was nice seeing you guys talk on here, and hopefully we'll see you guys. I'll see you in the future. Hopefully.
All right, y'all have a good one. Go fuck yourselves. Bye.